morning, good afternoon, and good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Monday Night America here on the NDB Media Network. Ladies and gentlemen, November 14th, 2022. The year is coming to an end. A lot of stuff going on in the world, and I got to tell you, I hate traffic. I think Michael, I don't know if he still likes traffic, but that's Michael Day over there. But I wish I lived in a world where there was no traffic, Michael. I got to tell you. I wish I lived in the woods, a place that was quiet. Heck,
do we know anybody like that?
I don't know. My universe is a bit small, Michael. It's like to be out in nature and having a dog or two with you and being able to just, well, politely flip off the world, maybe. I don't know, maybe not. I don't know. Michael, do we have anything like that around here? No, huh?
Not right by me right now.
Actually, you do.
I do if I go to my house in the mountains, yes.
Yeah, okay. But we're
where I am now, no.
All right, fair enough.
I get helicopters flying over me. So.
Oh, ha, ha, ha. But you live not too far from the vice president, but that's neither here nor there.
I know. So that's
Michael,
yeah.
You're on the East Coast. I'm on the West Coast. I don't know where we're going right now, but why don't you take us to some place that is detached from society, please?
Ooh, like a little cabin in the woods in California, maybe. And we get to visit with Thom.
Hey, welcome.
Welcome.
To the woods. We call the wood nymphs and the little fairies and all the magic. It's all here.
Yes, and the lights flickering and everything. It's great.
Right.
Oh, they are.
Yes.
That's so cool.
I know those are those. Except those. Those are bulbs, but the other ones are solar bulbs, and they're so cool.
I've got to tell you, Thom, that in our universe, with those flickering lights, you could almost make it seem like there's a visitor screwing around with electricity. You know?
I'm all about that. You know, my favorite thing to do at night is listen to near-death experiences. Every night. In the day, I listen to, all the political stuff and the heavy stuff, but at night, in this space, I don't want to be polluted with it. So I'm constantly putting on near-death experiences, hearing what these people experience that is miraculous, bigger than life, and then I prefer to go to sleep like that. So yeah, I've had an open invite for ghosts and spirits here for some time.
Wow, that is so cool because no, I don't like the company. I think my father was chased by, well, shouldn't say chased by them, but he had a connection with them. And after he went away, I say hi to him every once in a while. I've had a visitor here once or twice, and we even had it on air once, but that's neither here nor there.
Tell me about it.
Actually, I'm not sure which program I was doing, but I was looking at the camera here, and just for spatial orientation, I'm looking west towards downtown Los Angeles, which is approximately 35 miles west of me. So I was so intent on the program, Thom, that I was doing what I was doing, and you can see from about right there, a shadow passes in the back, and then it fades away. And I felt something where, actually, no, I didn't feel it. I saw it, not in the video screen, but in the corner of my eye. So I turned around. I did get scared because, when we see movement, we immediately jump to it. And I saw what was left of it, and I forget who was on with us, and they said, I saw it. I saw it go right back there. So about right underneath the flags or the banners is where it kind of like faded away. And I've been fortunate, Thom, that unlike my father, who, he spoke with them and they did things, I just see them walk by. I'm lucky. They don't mess with me other than saying, hi, I'm here.
Well, I don't think they can hurt you unless you believe they can hurt you. What do you think?
That's interesting. I hadn't given that thought, Thom. They've been, they have not hurt me in any way. I never gave that thought. That's interesting. Wow. Well, you know that, I guess I grew up watching horror movies, so I would think that they might be able to do something. But I really hadn't given that thought, Tom. I guess I'm a regular Hollywood kid. Yeah, ghosts can scare things, knock things over, and maybe be harmful. I hadn't given that thought.
They just
Right,
scare
well,
you to death.
Yeah, I mean, I think our entire, I think, we are consciousnesses plugged into this electrical manifestation grid, and we create everything by our beliefs. And that's why I personally don't believe in the devil or Satan, and I know some people do, and I grant them that reality to them. Satan is real for you, the devil's real for you. It's not for me, and they usually don't agree with me, but that's my belief system, and that's where I stand. What do you guys think? What do you think, Michael?
Well, I have been visited a couple of times, so I know it exists. My mother came back the night that she died and talked to my dad, and he didn't remember it. I mean, I was with a friend downstairs, and we both heard it. So it wasn't like it was my imagination. We heard it, and I came running upstairs, nothing. But he didn't remember it at all. And I don't know exactly what was said because I couldn't hear it, but I heard voices, but I didn't hear exactly what was said. And then after my dad died, he had dementia when he died. And so he would always come in my den and knock over things all the time. Drove me crazy. So that's kind of what he did when he came back to visit me. And I mean, I was watching television, just staring right at the TV, and all the papers on the top of the TVs came down.
Love that.
And it was like, oh, and I was so mad. And I said, Dad, why are you still doing that? You knocked over papers when you were alive, and now you're knocking them over now. But wow. I mean, my mom had Alzheimer's, so I mean, I went through it with both parents, and that's actually the reason that I was looking at Young and the Restless back then, because I was responsible for my mom from 10 p.m. to 2 a.m. and because my dad tried to get some sleep, and so then I would be in charge of her. And needless to say, she didn't like looking at sci-fi and fantasy stuff on TV.
Mm-hmm.
And I went, well, she used to like to look at As the World Turns. And I said, but that's only an hour. So I started recording all the CBS soap operas that were on that day. And I would, when she started to get irritated with my shows, I would put that on. And so we would be watching. And usually we'd get through Bold and the Beautiful or just start As the World Turns, and my dad would come out and take her to bed. But because of that, I was looking at the shows because I had to watch them, because she was, and I'll tell you, it calmed her down. It was amazing. She was just calm and focused. And I go, I don't know if it's because she used to look at them, when she retired all the time. I don't know why, but it calmed her down, and it was wonderful. I mean,
well, it takes you out of your head and you're into some other story, right?
Yeah. And I think that's what did it. And it calmed her down. And, I did what I had to do.
Yeah. Good. Well, it's going to be so hard to see a parent falling apart mentally. That's got to be so hard. Yeah.
It's very hard. It's very hard.
Yeah. And I wonder about that if maybe we didn't accomplish what we wanted to in life, and so at the end of it, maybe sometimes we've got to go to other fantasies and complete some of the issues. That's my thought about it, but I've really only seen it from a distance. I really don't know what it's like up close.
Gentlemen, forgive me for interrupting. And first of all, Michael, I didn't know that, and I thank you for sharing that. My grandfather, and this is a story that I was told by, I believe, my mother. So it was my maternal grandfather, where a friend passed away, and in the middle of the night, my grandfather apparently woke up. It was a nightmare, or he'd been visited by a friend who had passed away. And the friend asked him, I need you to take care of a debt for me. For whatever it was, however, the amount is unimportant, but it was, I need you to settle this debt for me so I may be able to rest. That story stuck with me.
Mhm.
And it's interesting how, Tom, you just mentioned that right now, and I remember that story. And this is a story that I learned when I was, oh my goodness, maybe 8 or 9. So it's well over 40-some years ago, and it has stuck with me. I don't talk about it all that often, but my grandmother did repeat the story to me because she was there. She
Right.
said that my grandfather wasn't one to flail about, move, speak, or anything. But on this one, she knew he was having, I guess she thought it was a nightmare, a dream. And
Mhm.
when he woke up, he put his hand on her saying, I have to take care of this. He visited me. And I don't remember all the details right now. And it kind of fits in with what you just mentioned right now. Unfinished business, maybe, where
Mhm.
we have to get something done.
Mhm. And actually, that also fits into one of my books. I've collected like 100 stories similar to that in this particular book about spirit guides. They want to help us. I've written 12 books, and some of them deal with spirituality, and some of them sexuality, and some of them soap opera fame, some of them family tragedy, some of them my paintings, and my neurosis,
Oh,
Hollywood.
so in other words, you're a real human being then.
Yeah, I am, and it's
Yeah.
interesting. Yeah, I mean, I certainly tried not to be when I was on the soap opera. You know, I really wanted to be like those hot, straight guys, but I mean, intrinsically, I am so much more an alternative thinking artist type than an actor type, and I think I've people can see that now, but back then I was trying so hard to be Peter Reckel or somebody else.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're already well into this program. We haven't even done a proper intro. Michael, I basically cut everyone off and went right into the conversation. Would you kindly start off with the intro and introduce our guest and some of the stuff that he's done? And we're going to talk about it, but we never really did the
No,
actual.
we kind of skipped over that.
Well,
yeah.
I kind of screwed around with it, and I
Well,
apologize.
Well, I actually have been, texting Tom for, oh golly, it's probably 15, almost 15 years.
Oh,
It's been a long time. So I feel like I kind of know him. I never met until
so this is just a conversation.
It's
that just
just
picked up. Yes. Well, we're not doing you justice, Tom. We want to give our audience a shout out. I do want to welcome Grayson, who already gave us a like. Grayson Perry, thank you for the like. That's why I gave him a shout out online. But yeah, let's talk about just a few of the things that he's done, and we'll get into the detail. I want to know about the books. See, I'm so narrow-minded in my research. I had no idea that you'd written several books. So we're going to get into that as well. Michael, go ahead.
Yeah. So this is Thom Bierdz, and as I said, I've been chatting with him for 15 years, and I was so thrilled that he said he would come on the show with us tonight. But he was on Young and the Restless back in the late 80s. And that's where, as I said just a little bit ago, that's where I first saw him when I was watching the soap opera with my mom. And
I played Phillip Chancellor III. It was a
Mhm.
really big part between Mrs. Chancellor. Everybody knows her because she was on almost 50 years. And Jill Abbott, who was kind of like the bitch of the show, played by several wonderful
Mhm.
actresses. So, although I don't look the same now, because this is going back over 35 years or something. Yeah, I mean, most people will remember the Chancellor name. So I did that. I also did a couple episodes of Melrose Place, a couple episodes of A Murder, She Wrote, an episode of Matlock, episode of Robin Hood's, and I've done a few other stuff. But I am more an artist, and I've been painting my whole life because I'm really an introvert. So it was hard for me to be in Hollywood like that. But yeah, so I had a midlife crisis about 11 years ago. I left Hollywood because my auditions were sucking so bad. I wasn't going to get anything because of my social anxiety. And I moved. I gave up my dream. My dream since I was 6 years old, I was going to be the biggest movie star. I just knew it. Well, it didn't happen. And that was a big shock to me. So I moved out here and I found this great place to rent that's cheap. And then I became the Tom that I was when I was a kid. I was always working on a project by myself, as happy as can be. I was always a spiritually motivated kid, and I always had crayons and everything. So now, for I don't know, for a long time, I've been making my living as an artist. I paint portraits. People can message me on Facebook for that. I also co-created, and now I own the American Art Awards and launching off to the World Art Awards. And every year, the American Art Awards selects the 20 best galleries and museums in America who vote on online art submissions from 70 countries. And so it's a very exciting thing. And again, I get to spend all my time enjoying these beautiful submissions and passing them on to the galleries. So it's really cool that although I didn't attain my dream in Hollywood, I am as happy here and relaxed as if I would have. Because if I would have bought a place in the forest so that I could kind of do what I'm doing right now. And I've written 12 books, and we'll go over those.
We will. As a matter of fact, Michael, what's that behind your
Other way.
Yeah, behind you right now. What is that?
That's
That is so
actually
cool.
a landscape that Tom did. I bought it from him a few years ago.
Yeah.
And yeah.
That's in this book. That's in my my landscape book. I've got many volumes of my art because I do paint so much. It's like I never sit still. So it's probably here somewhere. All right. Yeah. All right. I'm glad you have it. It looks good.
I do. I'm very excited. Yeah, I wanted another one, and then you sold out of them after I went, dang.
So, Tom, where are we able to purchase these books? Do you have? Well, I thank you, Michael. You have the web links right there. So, American Art Awards you just mentioned, but if we wanted to go to your items, do you have a website where we? Oh, well, there it is. Yes, I'm sorry, ThomBierdz.com. Are we able to purchase the books right there?
Yeah, ThomBierdz.com. Yes, you can see all my books there. And also they're at Amazon and Barnes & Noble as well. But if you order it from my site, I have them here and I can autograph them to you if you're in the USA. Yeah.
That is cool. Yes, I'm there at the website. While we're going to have to get it, so I know I'm going to get a book myself, and I want to see some of the paintings. But wow, this is cool. I'm at the website right now, and I see you have you have quite a few on here, so we're going to check it out. All right, that is cool. So, other than the stuff that you've done in Hollywood, you mentioned that you're an artist, and we see some of the drawings that you have right behind Michael and in your material. Tom, I understand you wanted to be a big Hollywood star, but then when you kind of pulled away from that, you had the opportunity to write, you had the opportunity to draw, or I'm sorry, not draw, but to be an artist. What is it that drives you to that? Why that?
Well, fundamentally, I think really what it is all about to me is just create. Again, I said I'm just a consciousness plugged into this electrical manifestation grid. And I think we all are creating what it is that we want. And I think I'm pretty lucky that I can just, that I'm here and I've avoided drama these last years really well. And, I'm just peacefully creating beautiful things. So, that's where my attention is at this point.
I do want to give a shout out. Well, actually, we have several people watching us already. Folks, let us know who you are and where you hail from. Go ahead and comment in the chat room if you have any questions for Tom. We'll get to them right now. But please let us know. as you all know, I'm on the West Coast. Michael's on the East Coast, and I guess Thom is on the West Coast as well. So, without giving anything really away, what's the mountain range where you're at?
Oh, I'm in Lake Arrowhead, California.
Oh, okay. Oh, so I'm actually not too far from you then. Wow. Yeah. That is cool. Do you have snow up there right now? Because Mount Baldy has a little bit of snow over here. Do you have any yet?
We did last week, and yes, we're still in the shade here, a little bit in the shade. Yeah, man, we had a storm last week. Damn. Yeah.
Hey, we're projected November, the Santa Anas. I understand we're going to have a major wind event down here. What will it be like for you up there? I've never been up there with the wind event like the San Andreas. I'm sorry, Santa Anas.
Yeah, it's been getting windier each year, it seems, which is weird. I worry about some of these windows.
Oh, wow. Okay.
There's a lot of trees around, and they get blown over, especially if it snows. Like last year, man, we had several feet of snow, of rainy snow in 1 week, and these gigantic evergreens fell into several homes around here, just destroyed them. So, I mean, they got so heavy. Yeah, and
I imagine Lake Arrowhead is not too far from Big Bear, so I'm thinking of the same trees, man. Those trees, they're immense. Wow. Yeah. So, do you get the whistling up there when the wind goes through the branches and stuff like that?
Sure.
Oh, wow. Have you had any visitors? I'm sure you have. Any bears, coyotes, stuff like that?
Yeah, all the time. All the time. Yeah. I mean, the bears routinely, they investigate everybody's garbage, everybody's, and you see it every week that they're turned over. And the C word, which I don't say around the dogs, yes, we know that they're around here a lot. Because if I say coyote, if I say that, they're going to bark. Because we know to stay away from them. But in the morning, I get these beautiful stellar jays. They're the blue jays that are so striking with the black head and the blue. And they seem to be pregnant this week, a lot of them. And then there's also some smaller red-haired orioles that come. And then there's a smaller bird and squirrels too. They come here because I feed them in the morning some bird food and stuff like that. And I believe there's been mountain lions around here. I've not seen a mountain lion around here, but I've seen some sizable coyote that look like wolves. That big. Yeah. But the bears, none of the locals are afraid of bears. Right. They say, oh, don't worry about it. And I mean, I've come across them and they just run the other way. Yeah. It's not scary.
Which is cool. I've been up in Big Bear, and it's pitch black up there at times, and I'm not a fan of the total darkness. So every now and then, I hear the movement when I stayed up with my friends up there, and oh man, it's unnerving because you can tell it's big.
I'd be scared if I was in a tent at night. Yeah.
Yeah. Folks, I want to give a shout out. Bobby Nash, thank you for the like. And we have quite a few people watching us on our YouTube, on our Twitch channel. Folks, come on, let us know who you are and where you hail from. And we're having a conversation here with Thom, and we're learning a bit about him right now, which is really cool. And he's already got quite a bit to share with us, and still quite a bit more.
Yeah, do you want me to give you a rundown on my books?
Hell yeah, and then we can start taking the books. Yes.
All right, man. All right, let's go. Well, I won 10 awards for my first memoir, which is Forgiving Troy. And that is a true story that I had to share because I felt so obligated going through this. My paranoid schizophrenic brother killed our mom in Kenosha, Wisconsin, right after I left the soap opera. And it was scary. It was terrifying. He was on the loose. Eventually, he was apprehended. He admitted it. He was the first person in Wisconsin to get life, meaning life. And it's just a really heavy story, but it becomes a beautiful story. Like the first half of this It's a pretty thick book, but the first half of this is facts. I had to go to the courthouse and get the facts because I was too into my own Hollywood career to really know what my mother was going through. So at some point I got 400 pages of court records and was like, oh my God, he did this, he did this, he did this. Oh, wow, wow, wow. And she didn't want me to worry because I was out here. But in any event, her spirit at some point does guide me back to my brother who's in prison. And that's when I discover that he's no longer the mean killing wolf that he was, but he's more just a babbling, incoherent, schizophrenic, completely gone. And he needed me to request medication to help him rebuild his life because he was written off and forgotten pretty much. And the prison was only going to address something per a family member. So it's an unbelievable story. And yeah, that's what this is. And then I wrote Young, Gay, and Restless, which is more of a neurotic, erotic, sexual memoir. And that I wrote a couple years ago. And really what this was about, again, because you know I'm living in a cabin in the woods, you know I'm away from Hollywood, you know I'm a spiritual guy. This was about me still, because even Young and the Restless, even today, they don't have a gay story, not a male gay storyline. So, you know, I've dealt with homophobia my whole life, or gay resistance. And so this was more or less me really being free, me embracing freedom and saying, this is everything I went through. This is every sexual encounter I ever had, as embarrassing as it is. And isn't it funny? And here's where I am now. So that's what that's about. And that's like way too long, but whatever.
No, it's good. It's good to know, and I appreciate that. You have that on your website, and I know I interrupted you. I'm sorry, Thom. Where you have, it's the 3 books, right? Young, Gay, and Restless, Forgiving Troy, and How Men Really Feel About Being Sexually Assaulted. I guess that's another book you haven't mentioned yet.
Uh-huh. Yeah, on the website, yeah, you can buy them singly or you can buy them together. There's different arrangements. How Men Really Feel About Being Sexually Assaulted. Now, the reason I wrote this is because I was sexually assaulted, but it didn't destroy me. Other people are sexually assaulted, it destroys them. I want people to know, whatever you think, it's okay. You don't have to think one way. And especially today with the political speech and the narratives, there's such pressure for people to feel a certain way, to have one thought and to share that one thought. And I didn't want that. So I collected a bunch of real life accounts from guys that have been sexually assaulted, anonymous, because I wanted them to be totally honest with me, and also to share, you know, how they felt about that. And most of them, you know, it ruined a lot of their lives, and some of them don't regret it. And that's the point. We don't all have to think the same. So that's why I wrote this. And it's a hard book to read, but I wanted to contribute that.
I appreciate that, Thom, and maybe we can go back to that one a little bit. What are some of... I have a few questions for you on that, but you have others. They want to help us, and then you have the art, which is volume 1. You have more. Please continue, and we'll get to those.
Dude, I got so many, man.
Yeah.
I just don't...
He's got a lot of art.
I've done 1,000 paintings, and I've sold close to 900. Yeah, I mean, that's it. That's what I do. Yeah, so this is my newest book. This is the 12 Days of Christmas novella, and it's pretty short. And the reason I wrote this is because I had done these 12 paintings. I had done them. They're hanging in my bedroom. And then I was showing them on Facebook, and people were like, oh, those are pretty cool. Those are pretty cool. And I thought, maybe I'll write a book about these. And so that's kind of what I did. So somebody in the small town is gifting people. Somebody finds a partridge in their pear tree. Somebody finds 2 turtle doves. Somebody finds 3 French hens, etc. Until we find out who in the small town is doing that and why they're doing it. And then it becomes, I wanted this to be commercial, but I'm not sure it's commercial because I'm still my Thom Bierdz blunt self here. And there's real people talking in here. There are real Republicans saying what they think of Democrats. There are real Democrats saying what they think of Republicans. There are real atheists saying what they think of the Bible. And so, but I mix them together because they like each other. They're in a small town, so they can get past that chatter. Online, we're told, "Oh, you can't. You got to hate each other." That's crazy, So yeah, that's this. This is a little commercial book that I just finished.
That's cool. I like that. Yeah, please go ahead and go on. While you're doing that, I don't mean to be rude, but I'm buying the 3-pack. I'm telling you right now. I really am. I'm going to get that one. The one.
They're compelling.
I guess the 3 that I mentioned. I'm going to do that right now myself. Hey, look, we already have a comment. Thank you. Timothy Lee Tomlin says, "Hi, Tom. Will you be on Young and the Restless for the 50th anniversary celebration and any other surprises for us legacy fans? And of course, love you, buddy." Timothy, thank you for the comment. Tom.
No, Young and Restless has not contacted me or asked me back for that. The thing is, they've got so many actors. They do. They've got so many storylines. They've got so many actors. I'm not in the top level for what they think at this point, and that's okay.
Well, you probably honestly need to get on that show and help your son there because he's having lots of troubles right now.
All right. No doubt.
Oh, but that's life. That's life. So.
All right, so let me go on here.
Yeah, go ahead and you got your other art books.
Yeah.
I also wrote How to Look and Feel 20 Years Younger because
I need that.
I'm 60 years old and people don't think I look like I'm 60. So
no, you do not.
Thanks, man. And I'm pretty honest about I'm a vegan, but you don't have to be a vegan. But this also includes 100 vegan recipes, options, some of my favorite stuff. I've got the best diet. And when I started giving up stuff and changing my diet, I found out, wow, there's so much you can have. But even though there's so much you can have as a vegan, because I added eggs as a vegan, there's so much you can have. I have the same thing almost every day because it's so good and it's good for me. So, that's in here. There's mind tricks because I think your belief is so important. I don't think you can look 20 years younger if you don't believe that it's possible. So there's a whole chapter about motivation, quoting, Anthony Robbins and Jane Roberts and all these people that were impressive to me that, they said stuff that stood with me. So I passed that on here. Then I talk about exercises. I do some simple exercises. Trampoline's really big for me. I've been doing push-ups, etc. And cosmetic tricks. I talk about the cosmetic surgeries I've had, and that's it. I'm very honest and open about that because I don't know how you can look 20 years younger without that. I don't know. I'm not there.
That's cool.
And then I've got some of my art books, and you know what? I've got. You've seen the landscape one. I've got a whole volume on the portraits that I've painted for people, like 400 of those. And
you do a lot of pet portraits, don't you?
Absolutely, and I love animals. Yeah, so I love doing those. But yeah, I just do this on and on and on. And then I've also I did a whole bunch of news. These were based on, I probably did at least 60 little paintings of gold nudes and trees. And so I was able to compile a book based on those, kind of like this. They're all tasteful nudes and stuff like that. But, it's just all kinds of stuff like that. Classic stuff. But I think my best work is my expressionism. Even people like Michael appreciate my realism in landscapes. The truth is, and I know this because I'm president of the American Art Awards, I know how many artists can do wonderful landscapes and wonderful realism. I know that. And, but what they can't do is the very unique stuff when Thom Bierdz spills his emotions onto a canvas. Just like if you were to do that, nobody could replicate that. So, I think that my best stuff is the emotional stuff that I've done. whether it's from social anxiety or whatever. But this is my expressionism book, which is quite a different style. It sells less because it's not as pretty and not many people want it on their walls. But, as an artist, I have to say, I do think that this, yeah, this, that's the best as far as I'm concerned. And then just one more book. Well, there's actually two more books. I don't have it here, but I also did a complete tarot book, but it's called The 100 Blue X Cards. So I created 100 tarot cards, but they're a little different than that. And the divination readings. And then I also did this book, and this is 100 black and white male nude prints from my 100 paintings that I've done. And then there's also 100 black and white photos of me through the different stages of my career. So
a whole bunch of stuff.
And it doesn't escape me that so much of me is about me, but I'm here as an entity to learn. And for me, that makes sense. I don't know. Does that make sense to you?
It does.
What I'm saying there? Okay. Yeah.
Yes,
I'm not hurting anybody.
No, not at all. No, this is really cool. I regret that I didn't have time to really check out the website, and I'm doing it now as we're having the conversation. Thom, you're an artist, and you have the advantage of being able to do some more, to add to this, to this. I forget what you called it, but this electrical connection that we all have. It's life, man. And I've seen that picture that Michael has behind him, and that it's beautiful, man. It's your expression. What drives you to do the natural settings? Because some people like to do, or I said that incorrectly, but some people like to draw buildings, people, and just other stuff. Why the natural settings? What attracts you?
Simply because that's what I wanted to be around. I don't think I did those. No, I didn't do those when I was in Hollywood. I've been here 11 years. Mm-hmm. So I started to do those when I was out here, because this is a rental, and it's got paneling on the walls, and it's not really good for contemporary work because it's a charming old cabin. Yeah. So that's why I started to launch off into doing landscapes and stuff, because I wanted to look at it. And that's why I did the 12 Christmas cottages. I wanted to look at those, so that's it. So, again, I'm pretty lucky that not only do I do what I want painting, but I can paint what I want as well, unless I'm required to paint somebody's dog or their grandma. And that's not a bad job to have. It's not as fun as me doing what I want, it's a job, but whatever, it's not a bad job.
Now, were they based on cottages you have seen over time, or were they all your interpretation, imagination?
And before you answer that, may I go to your website to show those images on with us right now? I'm going to go ahead and do that. Those are the ones you're talking about, right, Michael?
Well, the 12 Christmas. Yeah, okay. Those.
I was thinking of this one, for instance, right? Was that one that you were talking about?
Hold on, let me see.
Yeah. 9 ladies dancing.
Right. Yeah. Uh-huh.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. Michael, I interrupted you. Please.
No, that's okay. No, I was just, were these inspired by things you've seen, or were they all?
Oh, yeah.
Or a mixture?
No, I searched online to find what I thought were the most charming cabins possible. And so, so then I put in backgrounds that I wanted, and I planned it all in Photoshop before I painted it. So I knew exactly what I was going to do. Mm-hmm. It wasn't free form and it wasn't up here. No, it was conscious effort to do pretty stuff that I would like to look at.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, this is nice. I love the I guess the lake or the river in the background, the reflection of the trees, and the color, the yellow and the green on the cottage. That's a unique color.
Yeah, I really like the colors in this one. It's different than the other ones.
This is 10 Lords Leaping. Of course, folks,
yep,
the 12 days. Yes. And there they are. That's right.
They're right there.
Yeah. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, this one is cool. These are nice images, man. This is 11 pipers piping. Wow, this is nice. And the lake in the background is not as dark. It's actually, I guess, clearer than the prior image. Are these okay? Dumb question, Tom. Are all of these cabins in your mind in the same place, or are they all in different parts? Just curious.
Well, they were all in different parts, but when I wrote the book, it's like, oh no, they can't be in different parts. Well, I didn't think they could be. I had to put them in the same area, and the place that kind of fit most of these was Lake Lure, North Carolina. So that's where I
Wow.
to base the story.
Oh, that is nice. And then, of course, I think we could all recognize this one 12 drummers drumming. Yes.
Right.
Now, in your mind, in this image, what are they performing? What is the music that's being played right now at this image?
Hmm. Hmm.
Little drummer boy, maybe, or
Uh-huh.
the
I
Saints?
I didn't think of that, and
Okay.
in the book, they're not even doing a song. Actually, they're just making noise for a particular reason. But that's a good question. What song would you say they're doing?
Hmm. Other than the little drummer boy, I would think that would be maybe, huh. I'm going to stick with that one right now. I'm going to come up with one because there's another Christmas song. I just can't remember the name right now, but it's heavy on drums and I don't remember the name. I'm going to have to see if I can come up with it. But I'm going to stick with the little drummer boy for right now.
Funky Town.
Funky Town. That would be cool, man. I remember that song. I used to sing that song when I was younger. That was a good song.
I heard it the other day, by the way.
By the way.
Yep.
That's funny.
When I was 19 and working in a gay bar in Wisconsin, and that song was popular, and that was one song that we would put on all the time. Funky Town. Yeah.
Wow. This is 8 Maids a Milking.
Right.
Now, this one obviously is, I guess, well, no, I guess the lake would be back there, I suppose. But this is a country, a farm setting, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
This one is nice. I love the yellow that's right here. I have to believe that's the sunlight reflection, right?
I wasn't thinking that, but
Okay.
can be.
Oh, tell me then. What
I just wanted to give them different colors.
okay.
You know, when I do choose colors and I don't have to paint a particular color, I usually just do what I feel, and often I'm just it says, oh, this color's right, and I just do it.
Hmm. Well, it highlights the cows, I think, so that's probably why you did it. It brings the cows out more.
Yeah. Now there are other images, but we can get to those in a moment. But this is, if I'm not mistaken, this is from A Small Town Mystery by Thom Bierdz. This is the 12 Days of Christmas novella. This is the one that you were talking about. There are a few other images on the cover. You've shown them to us right here. That is this cool. Of course, partridge in a pear tree, 2 turtle doves, 3 French hens, and we all know the rest. So,
Yeah.
no, that is cool. You know what? Santa Claus is coming to town. There it is.
Oh, okay, all right.
That's the song.
I thought you were telling us some news, or I thought you were breaking a story.
Well, he's been known to do that too. But
Okay, all right.
Yeah, I did that in my youth.
All right.
No, this is really good stuff, Tom. I mean, I wish I would have been smart enough to ask Michael about that painting that he has in the background. I'd seen it once before. I myself love the natural settings, and I envy you in a good way, Tom. This is really good stuff. The imagery. Do you? I know you have animals and you have people in them, but do you prefer sticking with like buildings and things like the natural settings, or do you do pictures of people other than the news that you mentioned earlier?
You're asking, do I prefer to paint that? Is that the question?
Yeah, I apologize. It's jumbled.
Uh-huh.
My question is: do you prefer painting inanimate objects as opposed to maybe human beings, animals, and stuff like that?
It's just so different,
Hmm.
and why am I painting? If I'm really anxious or something, then I just want to spill whatever's there and let that happen, and that's usually has to do with people and stuff. But if I'm sitting at home and I want to do just pretty things, well, that's why the Christmas cottages came. I wanted pretty cabins for my walls. So yeah, I liked the idea of that without the people, but some of them are people. Yeah, it depends. Really, it depends. And and I'm constantly working on projects, etc. So, I will never have one answer for that. It would change for the month probably.
I hear you, and that follows. We're not, you know, these things that are stuck on this day. You got to do this on this day. You got. It's when you receive the inspiration, right?
Hmm.
Yeah. Wow. I've done a few pencil drawings myself, but nothing near what you did. I used to love drawing. Um, uh, I suppose a landscape, not unlike what's on Michael's wall, but I would draw infrastructure such as bridges crossing valleys and stuff. But again, they were just pencil drawings. These are absolutely gorgeous, Tom. You have quite a bit of talent. There's imagery. They come alive.
Thanks.
No, they are really nice. I'm gonna have to talk to you off air about because I gotta get some nice pictures in this office, man. Garage. I have to get some nice imagery in here. Right now, we were doing a program, obviously on the House of the Dragon. That's why I have those items back there.
Mm,
But
mm,
tax season's coming. I'm gonna get some nice imagery in here, so
mm.
we're gonna talk about that.
Right.
So that'll be good. But the order went through. I went for the 3-pack, so I'm looking forward to it.
All right. Thanks, dude.
Oh no, thank you. Just seeing some of the stuff right now. I'm looking forward to reading it. I don't want to. I say this in a good way. I don't want to take your thunder, but I am really interested in reading your book on the assault from a male perspective
Have you been
because,
assaulted?
yeah, yeah, I
Yeah.
was. I my audience kind of knows I was assaulted at work by a coworker, and yeah, it left me messed up for a year and a half, and for a while longer. And I'm not going to get into anything further, other than you know you kind of touched on it a little bit, but the feelings that we have, I kept quiet about it because, believe it or not, I didn't want to destroy my coworker,
Mhm.
and I'm the one that ended up paying in the long run, and it
Hmm.
was so bad. But it's not about me, Tom. I'm only saying that I'm really interested in reading that.
But
I've
what
been able to get past it, but no, go ahead, Tom.
what bothered you so much?
That um, there came a moment where I had to work in the proximity of this worker again. And it's like everyone knew what happened.
Oh.
And they were moving me from where I was because this individual was coming. I'm like, no, 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 no. That's not the way it works here.
Uh-huh.
And because I had the temerity to say, no, 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 a higher up individual says, oh, no, 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 no. Underlings, clerks don't tell engineers what to do.
Whoa.
And it blew up. It blew up in the idiot's face. Um, and it was a horrible mess. But I was paying the price for this fool having to come back into the office. But again, sorry, Tom, it's not about me. It's I'm looking forward to reading what it is. But I did, Tom. I paid a heavy price because I didn't want to destroy my coworker's life, and I paid a greater price. And to a lesser extent, I still am to this day. And the other person dodged the bullet. Person was drunk, and there were witnesses, and I was assaulted, and he got away with it.
Hmm.
So Of course, you're only hearing my story, but yeah, I'm not going to mention the idiot's name right now. I already have, so we'll leave it at that.
Mhm.
And I'm not trying to make it a joke. Forgive me. I can actually kind of laugh about it a little bit, but it was very difficult. And so reading or seeing that you have that book, yeah, I want to read it. I want to see what's in there.
Cool.
So,
Yeah, quite an assortment's in there. Quite
yeah.
yeah.
I look forward to it. On a major tangent, I think, Tom, maybe you would agree with me. I would direct this to the audience. You never remain silent. You cannot remain silent, because the one that's assaulted is the one that pays for it the most. And it's really sad. It really is. I can say that now, and I tell people that you can't hesitate. You have to not suffer in silence. I guess, Tom, if I may ask, I imagine you did, especially, in the field that you were in, right? If you
Well, you know what? My younger straight brother moved to Hollywood after my success, and he wound up being majorly assaulted by this
Wow.
big gay manager who was known around town as just, he would pay straight actors tons of money to have sex with him, and my brother was working for him, and so my it became an issue for them, absolutely, but not as much for me. But yeah, there were a couple times. I mean, I've been groped many times, but it never bothered me. There was a celebrity I was delivering a painting to, and he was showing me his house, and in his bedroom, he groped me and he shoved himself into a French kiss on me. And I really wasn't that bothered. I was just ewed out because I was not attracted to him. And that was it. I didn't make him feel like I was mad. In fact, I'm still friends with him. Uh, Although he's read this and whatever. But it kind of reminds me of when I came to Hollywood. And when I was 21, I was in a gay bar, and this guy next to me was a photographer, and he said, "Would you come over to my apartment?" I I I didn't think any sex would come. He just said, "Would you come over to my apartment? I want to show you photos, and I'd like to shoot you." Now, I regularly went home with people I was attracted to or I wasn't attracted, not to have sex, but it wasn't unusual for me to say, "Okay, yeah, let's go look at your books," and that's what I did. He drugged me. I fell unconscious as he was removing my clothes. I remember him going down on me. I woke up the next day in his bed, and I tried to dress, and I tried to drive home, and I hit two cars on the way home. After that, I still called him about those free headshots. That kind of shows, it either shows my naivety from Wisconsin, or it shows my ability to make things productive. And that's what I did. I made the best of the situation. He promised me headshots, even though he molested me and whatever. I don't know what he did to me. I still called him and I said, "Let's have those headshots," and he gave me great headshots. So, it's weird. We all handle stuff different.
I wow, Tom, you're the better person.
I
Seriously.
know it's not better. It's just different. It's just different. It's just different. And again, I was never in pain. I was never raped in pain or anything like that so many people are, and I feel horrible for that. The times that I was, assaulted was never like that.
Tom, I say better person, and forgive me, and if we're going into topics, tell me, let's not go there, but it's your dignity, it's who you are as a person was taken from you, and you still are able to. I mean, that's who we are as individuals. It's us, and it was taken from you, and you were still able to get past that. Thom, wow.
We, different things weigh on all of us. There are different things that, that torment me, but sexual assault has not been that for me. And I guess that's one reason I wanted to share that book, because, there are different reactions to serious things.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And who knows? I don't want to pigeonhole you or force you, but once I read some of those books, I'm hoping that maybe we can have a chance to even discuss them in more detail.
Sure.
And who knows? We'll see. But I don't know if we've discussed, gone over each and every book. Have we? Did you mention them all already?
Yeah, he went through. Yeah.
Okay, and that's my fault.
Quickly on some of them. Yeah.
Well, but that's good. We've had a look now, and like I said, maybe we'll be able to go ahead and spend some time on specific books. Folks, again, ladies and gentlemen, we have quite a few people watching us. Please let us know who you are and where you hail from. We'd love to know if you have any questions. Please fire them off in the chat room. We have quite a few people checking us out on our YouTube channel. So, folks, don't be shy. Just go ahead and comment. And we thank you for joining us this evening. Michael and I are a bit embarrassed because we had another guest on last week, and our Facebook program failed, where we were expecting to have a huge audience, and it was nothing. And it was Facebook that did us wrong. So right now we're watching. It's like, okay, thank goodness we have people.
Yeah, we have people watching on Facebook.
Yeah, and it's like we were worried about it. But I'm talking too much. Thom, tell me, what are some of the things that you want to talk about that we have not talked about right now?
Well, I wanted to ask.
I'm sorry, Michael, go ahead.
Just what made you get into the American Art Awards? Was it your love of art, or was it something else?
Well, I'll tell you. My Forgiving Troy book won many awards, and after that, I met the owner of one of the contests, and it was a big contest, and we became friends. We hung out, we had dinners a few places. It wasn't a sexual thing, it was just a friendship thing. And he said, Thom, you should create an art, because as an actor I had no guaranteed income. He said, Thom, you should create an art awards and you judge it. And I thought, people are not going to enter and want Thom Bierdz to judge their art. That's ridiculous. But the more I thought about it, and he explained the setup, and I thought, you know what? If America's galleries judged it, if America's best galleries judged it, that's worth something. And that was kind of the stem of it. So it was kind of a, and I laughed because I tattooed on my chest American Art Awards. So it's a business that I'm excited about because, I help people, and it's fun. It's not a horrible job.
And how many years has it been going on now?
I think 14 years now.
Wow.
And this year we'll launch the World Art Awards. So we're going to do the same thing with international galleries. So 2023. And luckily, I can do that from a cabin in the woods. This is, the internet's great. Love the internet.
As long as it doesn't go down, right?
Yeah. What would we do if it went down for a long time? Or, I don't know.
It's not like people have been talking about it maybe going down or anything. There's nothing to worry about, right, Thom?
Who knows?
Have you heard anything? Little whispers, little birds or anything?
I have heard. I've heard that, hey, there may be, there was a rumor out there that there may be a plan to infect the entire internet because some people may not like what's on the internet and have it completely taken down and rebuilt. I don't know, but that would certainly be a lot to deal with for so many of us. We're so dependent.
We've gotten used to the internet.
We sure have.
Yeah.
Oh, Michael, I think it's what Thom says. Nothing against you, my brother. It's not that we're used to it. we are dependent on it.
Yeah.
It's just there's no other word.
Mm.
It is. Look,
Mm.
don't get me wrong. I am a bit stressed out that I don't have my phone, but I do miss it. I really do. Because first of all, my watch is tied into my phone, so it's kind of like it's actually a watch. It doesn't beep, it doesn't give me any messages. It's actually been kind of nice, but I'm used to I look at it, I guess, for that dopamine high, right? Every few minutes. And it just stares back at me and it gives me the time. That's it. Because there's not I'm not in proximity to my phone right now. I'm hoping I'm going to get it back tomorrow, maybe Wednesday. But don't get me wrong, I need it, but not having it, it's been a little bit of a rest. It's not like I have like 5 or 6 missed calls from anyone. Oh yeah, So, but being on the internet, Tom, it allows you to stay where you are and stay connected with everyone, right?
Isn't that amazing? Yeah.
It's unreal. I mean, look at what we're doing right here. This was unheard of 20 years ago.
Absolutely.
I mean, it was envisioned as far as Dick Tracy, with the watch, but it was envisioned on the Jetsons, where the video monitor, which is really kind of neat. Life imitating art, or is it art imitating life? Which one is it?
It would be, I think it all stems from the conscious thought. I don't think anything exists without the conscious creation of it first. Anything. So, yeah, I would say that way that the thought had to come before the Jetsons. And then it's in our mentality. So yeah, it's a possibility. And the more people think about possibilities, the more things are created. That's why, like whatever you believe in, whether it's a God or, those things do have reality. We can have different realities. We do have different realities. We absolutely do. Most people don't accept that. Do you believe that? We have different realities. We believe totally different truths, different realities. No? Yes?
I would agree with that. Having studied a little bit of philosophy and a little bit of physics and stuff, that's something that I would not argue with. It's actually a very deep point that you're making, and there is no way in hell, Tom, would we be able to have that conversation in an hour or two, but it would be worth having. It's just there. I feel that I understand what you mean by the reality. Look, the life that I live, both figuratively and literally, is not the same as Michael. It's not the same as you, Tom. And we have our own reality. Our thoughts, as far as we know, no one will ever know what they are. We all live our own reality in this common place. And what is this common place? Right, Tom?
And you know what? When we die, we live our own reality. Now, I told you already, didn't I tell you that every night I go to bed listening to near-death experiences? I have not had one, but I've listened to 1,000. And these are people that have died and they've come back. And their heavens are different.
Okay. Tom, stop right there real quick. Michael, were we talking about that before we went live? I think we were, right?
A little bit, I think.
Yeah, I don't think we mentioned that on air. So, Tom, you touched on that right now. Would you please clarify what you mean that you've listened to many near-death instances? I mean, is recordings, stories, what is it?
They're all over. I mean, millions of people have near-death experiences.
Okay.
That's when somebody is legally dead, and even the hospital. They're in the hospital and they're declared dead. But almost all the time they rise out of their body. They can see their body. They're unfamiliar. They're like, "Wait, who is that? Oh my God, that's me. Oh, what's happening?" They think about their daughter. They're in their daughter's school. They're next to their daughter. They think about their father, and all of a sudden they're somewhere else in a farm with their father, and they sometimes They're met by loved ones. Sometimes they go to heaven. Sometimes they see Jesus. Sometimes they see Buddha. Sometimes they see somebody else. But, the point is, not only are our truths and realities different here, they're different when we go on, because I think that's per our consciousness. Whatever you believe in, I believe you will get.
Wow. Okay. Is it eternal?
From what I understand, it is eternal. I don't know how it could end.
Okay.
What do you think?
Michael, Tom, this is something that I'm presently struggling with. The proverbial thing. What happens when the lights go out?
Well, that's what these near-death experiences talk about.
Yeah. Tom, let me cut through some of it. What's going to happen? What do you believe? And if I may humbly ask that, what happens when the lights go out for you? And I'll share with you what I believe, and maybe Michael will as well.
Well, I was raised Catholic.
Me too.
I believe very strongly in God, and I believe very strongly in Jesus. But as I've been a spiritual seeker, an avid spiritual seeker for 50 years, I have come to the belief that the unified field of potentiality can only reflect to us what we vibrate, kind of the law of attraction. So I do not expect to die and be met by Jesus or a God. I might, certainly angels, certainly spirits, but I can't believe there's one handsome white bearded man who is controlling trillions of lives and deciding the Grammys and the Super Bowl. I just don't believe that. So it's more of a vibration. We can't create anything, but I do believe in spirits, as I've talked about, and helpful entities and stuff like that.
Michael, if
Michael,
I may ask.
If we may ask.
If you may ask, I may not say, but I mean, I talked about it before. I mean, I've been visited by both my parents after they died. So I do, just from that experience, I know there's something after death.
Yes.
I mean, absolutely. Exactly what? I have an idea, but, I mean, I wish they'd come back and told me, but they didn't. They just showed their presence, and that was it. So
that showed you that, though.
Yeah. So it was. I know something does exist after death, but don't know exactly what. Totally, I have an idea, but I don't want to get into that on air. So. And
I'm sorry, Michael, and I thank you for sharing what you did. That's still quite a bit what you just shared. Gentlemen, Tom, you and I have some things in common, especially when it comes to our faith. I have come to I believe that there is, our Creator, but believe it or not, at the same time, I've come to the conclusion, and if people who know me, they're probably going to let me have it for this, but it is my belief that I've come to the conclusion that when the lights go out, that's it. The lights go out. And I think about that every evening. And when I wake up, I'm like, okay, there was that moment where everything was off. Is that what it's really going to be like? And if it is, will I know that that's it? Or it's done? And it does fill me with a little bit of sadness, knowing that once it ends, it ends. And yes, we are part of this universe, our beings, everything. We will be mixed back into it. But I think about it a great deal. I'm 53 years old, so I'm thinking about it a lot. But I have a bucket list, Tom, and it's full speed ahead. I am moving forward to do it. There are things that I want to do for my family, to put things in order for them. I got things to do. for lack of a better word. And I think you guys understand me. And I don't want to make it any more than that. It's just I know that there are fewer summers ahead than there are some that have gone by. And I want to enjoy it as best I can with my family and friends and try to be a positive influence. I mean, that's what we're all trying to do, right, Tom? Is be a positive, or not a positive influence, but to have a positive effect on the world, maybe. I don't know. That might be a little too deep. Maybe lost. I don't know.
No, I think many of us are trying to do that. And I just wanted to say that if you do think that you will have nothing after death, that is a possibility. You know, I think everything is possible. I don't think for a second you have to have that. But here's an interesting side note, if I can push this in there. When my brother killed my mother, and at some point my beefy, muscular cowboy bartender lover was getting a psychic message from the other side. And he said, I don't know. I don't know if it's your mom, if it's your brother. I don't know. I don't know. I'm feeling this. I'm feeling this. I'm feeling this. And at one point he said, they're saying that Troy will stop, like his soul will die. And that was the first time that had ever thought in my head, because I always thought, oh no, we always go on and on and on. But because he got this mystical psychic message from outside, and he got many, that put that reality into place for me, that, oh, maybe some souls do stop. I don't know.
Wow. Ladies and gentlemen, we are in a very deep place right now, but it is a wonderful conversation. I want to take a quick moment. I want to remind everyone it's November 14th, 2022. This is Monday Night in America. We're having a wonderful conversation, and hopefully we didn't go to a dark place where you didn't want to go, and I mean the audience, but thank you for staying on with us. Folks, like I say, questions, comments, let us know.
Let me make it a little darker just for a second.
Go for it.
That same ex that had this wonderful message from the afterlife, that my mother said, I have to go see my brother Troy. I have to go. I have to save him, which I did, et cetera, et cetera. He also had a voice in his head when he was bartending at Club 219 saying, there's a serial killer in my presence. He looked around. There was only one customer, his friend Jeffrey Dahmer, that would come in all the time and drink. It wasn't until Jeffrey was caught that Gary realized, oh my God, that voice meant Jeff. He had no idea. So we went really dark there. Serial killer, Milwaukee.
We went real on that one. Wow. Wow. No kidding.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that was worth it, sir. And I appreciate you sharing that part of it. Like I said, ladies and gentlemen, we went dark. We may go again dark as we proceed, but it's all good. We're well into it. And folks, like I said, questions, comments, we'd love to hear them. So if I may, I want to get back to a little bit of your Hollywood experience, and it's just a minor detour. You worked in Hollywood where you, the novellas, the soap operas, you film an episode a day, don't you? It is quick. It runs fast. And you've done other programs. Could you kind of give us an idea of what was involved in you having to work this fast in the soap operas?
Sure. The Young and the Restless was filmed in Los Angeles, and it was one of the few at that time, and this is going back to 1986, that had a split schedule. So the actors would either get there at 7 a.m, and then we'd go to makeup, and then we'd go to the stage, and we'd get a quick rehearsal. Then we'd go into our rooms, and we'd finish learning our lines. And then when it was time, they would call us out for our scene, and we would film that, and ideally be done at noon. And that's when the second set of actors would come in for the second part. It was an hour show, so they did an hour's, like 45 minutes plus commercials worth of filming a day, so maybe 3 takes at the most. They really wanted you to get it in 1 take, but they were okay if you didn't. Yeah, but it was really quick. It was really quick. When my first job was Highway to Heaven, and
Oh
I,
yeah.
yeah, I moved to Hollywood, and I got Rob Lowe's manager, and that got me an audition, and I got Highway to Heaven, and I finished my scene, and then Michael Landon said, "Okay, now let's do the blue pages," and I said, "What blue pages?" And he said, the additions, and I had no idea that they could possibly add scenes after after you already okayed to the part, but they did. And he said, "You got 5 minutes to learn them," and I learned them all right.
Wow.
Good memory though.
Heck yeah. Still
Yeah.
rather quick. You were in St. Elmo's Fire. I did not know that. I knew the Highway to Heaven one. I knew the Gladiator, the Young and the Restless, but I did
Well,
not know you were in St. Elmo's Fire.
well, again, I mentioned my manager was managing Rob Lowe,
Yeah.
and he was in St. Elmo's Fire. So as a favor, I got one line, and I was cut. And I was cut. The same with Back to the Future. I had one line, and I was cut. That's all right.
That's funny. Hey, it's all good. You were compensated for it though. So
Yes, I was.
heck
Yes.
yeah, that's not too bad. It's a shame though
No.
that he got cut. But all right, Michael, jump on in, pal.
I was just looking. I was after he said that. I was looking. Said you did a Hollywood Square one time,
Yep.
way back.
Yeah,
Really?
I did 2 weeks of Hollywood Square. Yeah. Yeah. And in fact, there was one day in the week that it was sibling day, and I got to bring my straight brother who was out here, not the one that killed our mom, but the other one.
Yeah.
And we were a big hit. And in fact, the producer of Hollywood Squares at that time, I think it was called the New Hollywood Squares, he also produced Chips. And for a second, he was considering doing a remake of Chips with me and my brother.
Oh wow!
Yeah,
Oh
didn't work
wow.
out, but it was cool. Yeah, that was a nice experience. Got to meet Joan Rivers on that, and Jim Bullock, and Shadow Stevens, I believe, John Davidson.
Yeah, way
Yeah,
way
those are
back
some
there.
those are some big names. Yeah.
Yeah, it seems so long ago, doesn't it? I mean,
Yes, yeah.
I guess it was. Must have been
80,
1980.
88, 89.
Yeah.
Just a little bit. Just
Just a
seasoned.
little bit.
That's all it is. We're just seasoned.
No, yeah.
10 years ago, maybe.
Yeah, but by the way, Tom, you definitely do not look your age. So take it for what it is. And I appreciate you have the book on there. So I'm not sure if I purchased that one. I may have to purchase that one as well. But I always have a beard myself. So I've been told I look quite a bit older with the beard. And I shaved this weekend. So I was getting not harassed, but they're like, "Hey, who are you?" You're funny. So I was getting a little bit of that today.
Beard dye makes a big difference. I'm actually all gray. I'm completely gray.
Oh,
And yeah, the hair dye helps a lot.
I have the squirrel, which is multiple colors,
Oh,
a
cool.
little bit of white, gray, and everything. Or is that the skunk color? Because none of it is black. It's all, Michael? It's white and gray, huh? I guess
Yeah.
salt and pepper, maybe. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just, and it can get thick. Unfortunately, that's about the only place where it's just. Yeah, but I had been wearing it for too long, and then of course it got cold, Tom. So I was cold all morning. I didn't have the beard on. So is it just by choice you keep your beard, or is it because it's cold up there all the time?
Oh no, actually, the truth is I just look better with a beard these days. I mean, I'm 60, and without a beard, this is a better line with a beard for me.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, it's just, 60-year-old face. The good thing about men is we can use beards like women use makeup. That's how I feel.
Yeah, that is fair. I agree with that. So I know you mentioned the awards program and the date. When is the American Arts the American Art Awards. When is the next event?
Right. It may be different next year, but usually by May, we select the 20 best museums and galleries, and then artists usually enter by the end of July. And then in August, we send the galleries and museums voting forms and links. And then we usually announce winners the end of September.
And only because I don't know any better, but how do you announce them? On website, a program, where? How is it done?
Yeah, through about 100 Medium articles and a couple other magazines that pick it up.
Oh, excellent. All right.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
yeah, we give the artists the best press they've ever had, because we can say, America's best galleries and museums voted you, best in this category. And we can even say stuff like, these are the best artists in Switzerland, and name our Switzerland artists, because it's just so validated by all these galleries and museums voting. So it's really impressive.
look, your work is awesome.
Thank you.
Now, are there, and you don't have to mention them, but if you like, are there any artists that, I mean, obviously, I know what you do with the American Art Awards, but are there any artists that even you've been like, wow, these kids are really good? Have you been blown away by some of them? I'm sure you have.
All the time. All the
Really?
time. Yeah, and we've got a big Chinese showing, and there's so many Chinese realists that are very classical and just so pristine and just so excellent with with the oil figures and stuff. That's pretty astounding. But there's artists from all over. We have 50 categories, so
that was my next question. 50
Yeah.
categories. Wow.
50 categories. We got oil figure, we got acrylic figure, watercolor, we've got pastel, we've got charcoal, then we've got expressionism, we've got impressionism, we've got realism, we've got landscape with life, then we have photography, we've got digital, we've got sculpture, we've got innovative, we've got, everything. Erotic, everything, humor. Mm-hmm.
The digital. That's
Digital.
as in you're drawing it on those pads or on a computer or something like that?
Yes. And we have digital abstract as well as digital representational.
The picture behind Michael, what is, how do you describe that? Is that oil? What is it?
It's oil with no, it's acrylic with an oil wash.
Okay. And so the audience would know, what category would that be in? What you just told us?
Realism landscape.
Realism landscape. Okay. Wow. Now, the picture that we're talking about, that one, is it a particular place or is it an imaginary place?
I believe that's Lake Louise in Canada.
Oh, you did say
I remember correctly. Again, I found that online and I wanted to recreate that.
Wow.
So no, I didn't invent that. It's me meticulously trying to recreate what I'm looking at.
Wow. Yeah, like I say, I was fortunate. Michael did show it to me once before, but he did take it down and seen it again. I'm like, oh, that's the connection. Wow, that is cool. Yeah, that is well done.
You get to see it in person in a couple of weeks.
Oh, the picture, yes. Tom, I'm going to go visit Michael in December. I'm flying. Yeah, I was like, did I miss something?
Yeah, you missed something. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm flying out to Washington, D.C. on December 1st and coming back on the 5th. So I'm just going out for a few days. Michael and I first met in, I guess, the summer of 2010? Or was it the fall? Well, somewhere.
I think it was the summer.
We had actually met through Blog Talk Radio, where we were doing interviews, digital radio. And then a program that he was involved in brought him out to LA. And I met Michael there in person. And then I didn't see him again until December of 2020. He came out to Arizona. You know what happened, right, Tom, where he came out to visit his family?
He probably doesn't.
Oh, okay.
Go on. Tell me.
Michael, yeah, he did a program with us about it. Sorry, Michael, I'm embarrassing you.
No, that's okay. No.
He's adopted.
I'm adopted. I was not told I was adopted, but I suspected it ever since I was in elementary school. So after my mom died, the night my mom died, my dad admitted it to the nurse that was on call. And he said, Michael was adopted. We never told him, but I think he knows.
Oh, wow.
So that was the confirmation when I was 30 years old that I was adopted. So 3 years after that, I found out who my birth mom was. And she chose not to tell me who my birth father was. She said she didn't remember. I'm not sure that's true or not. My one brother didn't think that she didn't know who it was either. But she ended up dying before she could tell me who my dad was. So I had basically given up because I had hired a private investigator years before and couldn't find anything. So I'd basically given up, and I retired from work, and I had all this free time, and I decided I would do a DNA test. So I did a DNA test, threw it out there, found a semi-close relative, but they didn't get back to me for a while. So in the meantime, I had done 2 more DNA tests at 2 different sites and got a whole different crop of relatives. I knew all my mom's side, who they were. So anybody that, was like, oh, this has got to be my dad's side. So long story short, I found out who I suspected was my father. But no close relatives that I could contact. And nobody knew who I was. Nobody had a clue. So I stumbled across my potential dad's name and a phone number. And then I also found that he had a son, and it was named after him. And I go, oh. So I looked him up, found his phone number, and said, he might be a good one to call. So I called the phone number. They didn't answer, left a message, kind of gave up because it'd been a week. A week later, I had a woman call me up and said, I got your message, and I was going, oh, I thought I was calling my brother, whatever. So I basically couldn't tell her exactly why I was calling. And so I basically said I was looking for close relatives, I was adopted, and I was looking for health records. And she was suspected. And so I blurted out the truth. I said, I think that, I won't say the name, but I thought this person was my dad, and I was trying to find him, to talk to him. And I was looking for his son. I didn't say his son, I just said him. And she goes, well, he's dead. And I knew he had died. I knew that if it was who I thought was my father, that he had died. That's why I was trying to look for his son. But another long story short is they were in Arizona. My brother ended up taking the DNA test. His mother did not think that I was her ex-husband's son. Not at all. But we did the DNA test, and he was my half brother. So it was very interesting.
So Michael tells me he's going to go out to Arizona. I said, dude, I haven't seen you in 10 years. He says, yeah, but Roger, I don't mean to be a dick or anything, but I'm going to go visit my family. He said, Michael, give me an hour. Just give me an hour. I'll drive out there. And I actually spent a little bit more time with Michael, and it was 10 years apart, basically. So then I said, okay, we met in December. When are we going to meet again? And he says, okay, well, let's go to Georgia because there's a common theme. So we met. And now we're like, okay, 2 years in a row. So we got to do it again. So now I'm going to fly up to meet him. And I told him, where do you want to go now? And I'm already thinking of next year. In December, Michael and I are going to meet somewhere, which is kind of cool. Maybe I'll drag him out to LA out here. So, but I may have cut Michael off, and it was not my intent. It was just so exuberant. And I'm sorry, Michael, but
No, that's
he
okay.
came over to Arizona And we did a program on this, Tom, on his experience. And I still learned a great deal more from Michael on that episode when he talked about what he had to go through. Because the family wasn't exactly receptive, were they?
Mm-hmm.
No.
What's
no,
the
because
relation?
they didn't believe it, so
They still don't.
No, they do now. But my brother, who surprised me, I mean, I thought I had more in common with him and my sister that's just a year younger than me. And they're the ones that I really don't talk to. I'm closer to my stepmother, who called me back, and my younger sister, who actually came out to DC to meet me because she couldn't go to Arizona to meet me when I went there. So she flew out to DC, and we spent a week together and got to know each other. So we have a nice relationship now, I feel.
Cool.
Which is the sister that I have the least in common with. So it's interesting that, it's not always what you have in common. It's just, it could be other things. So it surprised me. So.
But you're really glad that you pursued that.
Oh, absolutely. It was so much closure.
Yeah.
And everything. Because I wanted to know. And I mean, and it's health-wise, it has made all my problems in later life make total sense, since I know who my birth parents are, and I learned both of their histories, and it was like, oh, okay, so some of this is genetic, but you can do things to counteract some of it, but some of it you can't help. So it was a good experience. And I mean, I have other friends that were adopted. Some have had good experience. Some have not had good experience. Some don't care to know who their birth parents are. And I respect that. I just know I always wanted, I mean, I had a good childhood. I mean, I did. My adopted parents were wonderful, but I always wanted to know. I was always curious. And, I mean, I still remember going around sometimes and thinking, oh, they may be my half sibling and I just don't know. It's could be possible. So
right.
So you just never know. But
and I'm just curious, you guys have been in contact for 15 years. Did you know that, Tom?
Did I know that?
About Michael being adopted?
I never talked to Tom about that.
He's very secretive. That's why I was just curious, Tom. If that had ever come across, because Michael, just to shut me up, said, dude, this is why I'm going to Arizona. Stick, get your nose and I'm going to see. And I begged him for an hour. I said, dude, I will drive over there to see you. And then he began to explain to me why. I was like, okay, but can I still have an hour? Because I hadn't seen him in so long. And when he explained to me everything, I was like, okay, I get it. I'm sorry, Michael. But can I still have an hour? And I did. I left the house like at 3:30 in the morning here, Tom, to get over to Phoenix. And I got there by what? 8:30, huh?
Yeah.
And it was cool. I didn't realize how emotional Michael was over it. But it was, in a tiny way, I was a small part of it. But it was very difficult for him. I can only imagine, but he did it. And it was really neat.
I did. And it was the middle of COVID and I did it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. December 2020. So that's why last year I went over to Florida, met him in Georgia. And then this year I'm actually going to go over to New York. So I got to drag him out this way in 2023. So
how you like living in Washington, D.C.?
I've been here ever since I was adopted, so
okay.
It's where
he's
I grew
like a
up.
mile from the Naval Observatory.
About 2.5 miles.
2.5 miles. So
yeah,
every time the president goes to Camp David, Michael knows.
Yeah. Anytime there's some military, they go to the hospital because the military hospital is 1.5 miles from my house, the other way. So I get all the all the traffic. So
Hell, Tom doesn't get any air traffic where he's at in Lake Arrowhead. Very little flies overhead, right, Tom?
Well, there is cloud seeding that goes on.
Ah, okay.
Because, I mean, I've been here 11 years and I felt that it has been getting warmer. And since I do walk the dogs very early at the lake, sometimes even before sunrise, they do. I mean, they do create clouds around here to keep this cooler. And I've noticed that more as the time has gone on. So, yeah, we do. We do. And in fact, because what they do is when they feel the conditions are close to precipitation, they want to do what they can to push that along.
Okay.
And that's what they do. And so sometimes I hear them very low right before a storm because they're pushing it. So they come in low and they whatever they release, I don't know.
Oh,
Yeah, so it's not totally quiet at all times. It's not. But
Okay.
usually,
you just ruined his fantasy.
Well, no. It's not. Oh, fantasy. Well, thank you for that, Michael. No, it's not. I've only been up there like on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So generally, there's not that much activity when I've been up there. So I was figuring it was a little quiet. But yeah, I see that. You know, being with the county of Los Angeles, I can. Yeah. I know that they do some cloud seeding out here. I mean, that's San Bernardino County out there. So, and I'm not sure if that's a county, state, or federal endeavor.
I don't know either.
Yeah, that's way above my pay grade. No doubt. So, Michael, where did you have any other questions on some of those materials?
I'm trying to think if there's anything else I wanted to touch on. Now you came for those Young and the Restless fans out there. You came back in the early 2000s or late 2000s and reprised your role for a little while. I was sorry they didn't keep you on longer, but they just seemed to put you on and then boom, you were gone.
Yeah, me too. Originally, I signed for a 3-year contract, 1986 to 1989, and it was a very big storyline. But the truth is, I came to Hollywood to be a movie star. I didn't come to be a soap opera star. And so I left. I really intended I was going to be a movie star, and I thought that. But anyway, 20 years after I died on the soap opera in 1989, I did contact who was a writer and initiated the idea that I do come back and I'd like to be gay as well. So they did. 20 years after my death, in a big May sweeps, they surprised the audience. Phillip's back, he's alive, and he's gay. So that was kind of fun. On a personal note as well, because of course I was closeted being so young, and I was able to be more myself, in 2009. Yeah, but they did not use my character as much as I wanted. And, I think the thing is that The Young and the Restless still sells overseas. So they're very careful about the content. They don't want anything boycotted overseas, like gay men or whatever. So, they've been the slowest at really broadening the homosexual lines there.
Yeah, it's interesting. For what little I know, yeah, there are still some places that maybe in the Latin world that would have difficulty still to this day. And Europe, I don't think there'd be an issue.
Not Europe, but there's Turkey, there's, it was everywhere. I don't know if it still is, but it was for sure.
Yeah, it's, wow. If I may ask, Tom, when did you have when did you allow the rest of us to know?
I think in 2004 I did some articles saying that I was gay. Okay.
No, that's
Yeah.
What was the reaction that you received?
Well, I wasn't on TV at the time. I wasn't a big star at the time, so I don't know. I mean, I really didn't meet with a direct audience. I was just, around Facebook friends and stuff like that. So, and now, you know, I'm very open and I try to be entertaining on Facebook. And, you know, part of that is just being very raw and sexual as well. And I have many, many female straight Facebook friends that, you know, followed me from the soap opera. So they don't have a problem. They think it's very funny what I post and stuff.
That's cool. That's good stuff. Did you have to deal with idiots? I'm sure you did, right? People that are just full of hate in their heart.
You know, I can't think of,
Oh, really?
yeah.
Good. All right. Sorry. I dumb question, but I'm glad you answered it, and it's good to know that when you did reveal to the rest of us that you didn't have to deal with any of that.
Well, I was bartending at a gay bar at 19 in Wisconsin before I moved to Hollywood. I saved $5,000 to move to Hollywood. So, you know, I had gone from being a very shy, insecure misfit to, hey, this is a place that I kind of belong and this is nice. You know, and then I moved to Hollywood and that's very gay. So, you know, I've always been around gay supportive environments until I moved here. Well, I don't know, you know, because there aren't that many. I mean, there's certainly, I've not run across homophobia here, but there isn't a big gay presence that I know of in Lake Arrowhead.
Okay, fair enough. That's good to know.
Yeah.
All right.
Is there anything else you wanted to touch on, Thom? Or
I don't think so. I think we've covered everything.
We did. We did rather quickly. I'm glad we spent some time on some stuff. All kidding aside, once I go through some of the material, I would, if opportunity does present itself, I'd love to talk to you about some of the materials in a little more detail. Don't want to reveal everything because that's not the point. But I would look forward to being able to discuss some of them with you.
Great. I'd be curious as to more about your story and your feelings.
Thom, I appreciate that, but I talk too much. Michael will tell you that I talk way too much. It's very kind of you, Thom, but I would love to have it. I guess we'll share a conversation, but I would like to talk about your material, and I look forward to it. I know it's dark matter, but it's good that you've done that. A lot of people don't know or don't care, and it's worth knowing. And we see it as abstract statistics, number stories that these things happen. Look, in the homophobe world, there's prison. You're gonna get it in the end. All that stuff. People don't realize that there's people there, and sometimes it does happen, sometimes it doesn't. But it's a joke to them, or it's something that they ignore. And putting a face to it, well, not necessarily a face, but telling the truth of those stories is good. And
Yeah,
I'm
absolutely.
curious.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't mean to cut you off on that one, Thom.
No. Yeah, I think truth is very important, and different truths are important. Absolutely, experiences. Yeah, and
Yeah.
again, none of us should be shamed for our thoughts or our feelings, even if they're different than other people's.
I like that. Yeah, you're right. I do. I like that. All right. Well, fair enough. This was good. Thom, I want to thank you. You gave us quite a bit of time. We had a wonderful conversation. You allowed us to share as well, and that wasn't our intent. Our intent was to have you doing the, leading the conversation, but I still thank you nevertheless.
Yeah,
You're
it
a
was
kind person, Thom.
absolutely a pleasure to get to know you both more. Thank you very much.
I look forward to the material that is coming my way, and I look forward to having some additional conversations with you in the future. And we're looking forward to that. And if we could help out in any way, humbly, when the event comes next year, we would love to help get any word out. And if you want to do anything live, we could assist you with that.
Okay, all right.
So it's always on the table. Thom, you're a
Great.
good man. You are spiritual. You're an enlightened soul. And
I'm a happy man. I'm a
yeah,
happy
you
man.
are, man.
And I'm living a life that's not routine, and that's cool. It fits me, right?
Hell
Do
yeah.
it fits you, right?
Hey,
Yeah.
by the way, you said you were an introvert. You
Yeah.
familiar with Myers-Briggs? Do you know the 4 letters? What are you?
I
I'm an
forget.
INTJ.
Okay, all right. I forget what I am.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
No, that's fair. Okay. Sounds good. We're not going to belabor it anymore. We're not going to make you suffer anymore, Thom. Like I said, you're a good man. Michael, you want to take us away?
Yeah, I'd like to thank everyone for joining us. And Thom, thank you very much for being here. And we do look forward to hopefully having you on again. So everybody, take care. And we'll see you next Monday for our next show. Which, why have I forgotten who it is?
That's absolutely awesome.
I know. It's been like the thing.
Rob Wiley, writer and
That's
director
right.
of River Road.
That's
It's going to be at 9 p.m. Eastern Time, 6
Thank
p.m.
you.
Pacific Time, November 21st. We're kicking off the holiday. And if we continue on November 28th, Rick Dugdale, producer and director of Zero Contact, also 6 p.m. Pacific Time, 9 p.m. Eastern. And on December 12th, Saul Rubinek of Warehouse 13. You also know him from Star Trek The Next Generation. He was also in the movie Family Man opposite Nicolas Cage in Family Man on December 12th, 2022 at 9 p.m. Eastern Time, 6 p.m. Pacific. So we're good. We'll see you guys on the other side.
Take it easy.
All right.
Peace.
Good night, guys.